Good morning, preschoolers. It's Miss Amy. I'm checking in with you guys today. I have a book to share. I wanted to say good morning and see how you're all doing. Some of you may have noticed if you went outside yesterday that it was very, very hot. That is because it's getting to be almost summertime, which normally would mean that school would be ending and some of you would be graduating so that you can go to kindergarten next year. It's a bummer that we don't get to do those things this year because of the quarantine. But I wanted to say hello to you guys anyway and let you know that I'm still thinking about you, and I hope that you guys are still doing good. I hope that you're still helping your parents and your brothers and sisters, and that you're still trying to be leaders and make a difference at your house, even though you don't get to come to school right now. Now, I have this book today that I want to read to you, and this book is a book that you might recognize. We looked at this book a little bit around International Holiday because it's from Finland, and it is written by Eva Gedi, who's the name of the person who lives in Finland, and this book is written in both English and Finnish, which is the language that they speak in Finland. It's called Eva the Adventurer, and it's by Eva Gedi, who hopes that kids continue to adventure even when they grow up. So, you might not know what an adventure is. I'm going to tell you. An adventure is when you go somewhere to do something. A lot of times adventurers are brave and strong, and they are very smart. They know how to solve problems. So a lot of times a person might go somewhere to do something, and that could be their adventure. And sometimes people go to get things, and that's their adventure. But this is a story about a girl who is a preschooler, and her name's Eva, and this is about how she goes on adventures. I thought this might be helpful for you guys because this is Eva. Eva likes to go on adventures. And you can see there's Eva, and there's one of Eva's toys. Now, Eva goes on adventures, and sometimes she uses toys, but she always uses what's in her head, right? She uses her imagination. So we're going to see how she does that. Some days, Eva is an astronaut flying to the moon. So here's Eva's imagination. You can see the moon and the earth and the spaceship, and she's inside. But look at Eva at her house. At her house, Eva has a toy spaceship, and she's wearing a special hat. And it looks like she made her special hat out of something she found in the kitchen. Do you see that? Now, if you're going to wear a pot or pan on your head, you probably need to run that by your parents, or at the very least, you need to ask them if it's okay, because we don't want you to lose your pots and pans that your moms and dads try to cook in. And so you need to make sure it's okay if you use one to pretend. Some days, Eva is a mountain climber climbing ginormous mountains. Ginormous is a big word that means super big. So this is about climbing a super big mountain. As you can see, a mountain climber wears special winter clothes. They wear winter pants and boots and a jacket and hats and gloves to keep their body warm and safe while they're climbing a mountain. So in her imagination, she is wearing all kinds of special clothes, but at her house, she's wearing her regular clothes, and she's pretending on this little hill, and it looks like she has a tool with a handle, and she's pretending to put up a flag. She's using her imagination. Some days, Eva is a pilot flying loop-de-loops. A loop-de-loop is when you go in a circle in an airplane. Airplanes don't usually do loop-de-loops. It's something that pilots can do to show off, but when people are riding on airplanes, they don't do loop-de-loops. But here, you can see that in her imagination, Eva is in the cockpit of a very large airplane. And airplanes have lots of different controls and buttons and knobs and things, and they're very complicated to fly. You have to go to school and learn how to be a pilot. But in her imagination, she is doing all this, even though she's just holding her arms out and she's pretending to fly. So that's how you can use your imagination to pretend to be a pilot. Some days, Eva is a conductor leading amazing orchestras. Now, preschoolers, a conductor is the name of the person who leads the orchestra. And an orchestra is kind of like a band, except that it has string instruments like these, violins and cellos. These people are using a bow to play the strings. These are wind instruments where people blow into them to make noise. And these instruments are made of metal. Those are called brass instruments. An orchestra is a classic group of musicians who all play the same song all at the same time. They also have percussion instruments. Percussion is a word that means to hit something. So like a drum is a percussion instrument. Things that you can shake that make noise are percussion instruments. We have a lot of percussion instruments in our classroom back at school, as you might recall. So Eva's pretending that she's directing all these instruments to play some music together, but really she's just using some different toys, and she is pretending to wave her baton. When we get back at school, I'll have to show you a video of an orchestra playing together, because the conductor does have a pretty cool job. They use their baton to keep time so that everyone in the orchestra is playing at the same speed and can stay together in the song. Some days Eva is an engineer building fancy bridges. Now here you can see that Eva is pretending she built this long bridge through the mountains, but at her house she's using some toys, isn't she? She's using some blocks to build a bridge. And I hope that some of you might have blocks at your house, so you could try that. You could try building a bridge, or you could build a tower, and you could say, look, I made a skyscraper, and that's using your imagination. Some days, Eva is a singer singing opera songs. Now, opera is a kind of music where people wear really, really fancy clothes and stand on stage, and they sing long songs that aren't in English. Typically, opera is sung, I think, in Italian and Latin, which are both very, well, they're just different languages than English. So, opera is not something Miss Amy knows a lot about. If you're interested in opera, you let me know, and we'll learn about it next year, because I would have to learn about it too. Some days, Eva is a train driver driving fast trains. Look at this, she's driving the train. And here she is at her house. She's pretending. She's using her imagination. Some days, Eva is a scientist curing rare diseases. So, a scientist is somebody who goes to school and learns a lot about science. And then they try to problem solve by inventing things. Scientists do try to solve problems that are medical problems by inventing things. Right now, all over the whole world, scientists are working on trying to find a vaccination for COVID, which is the sickness that is making all of us stay in our houses in the quarantine. And so right now there are scientists just like this who are doing experiments and trying to solve the problem of how to keep people from getting sick from COVID. And this is Eva, and she's pretending to be a scientist. It looks like she is using a lot of different containers and mixing things together. Now, if you want to play scientist, I am going to tell you that you should talk to your mom or your dad and ask them if it's okay, and ask them if you can use some different containers, and ask them where you could play scientist. And they might want you to play scientist like on the edge of the bathtub in the bathroom, because spilled water in the bathroom is easier to clean up than spilled water on carpet. So before you play with water, you always have to talk to your mom or dad and ask them if it's okay, and ask them where they would like you to do that. Some days, after being an astronaut, a mountain climber, a pilot, a conductor, an engineer, a singer, a train driver, and a scientist, Eva is ready for bed. Look at that. She gets ready for bed. The end. Now, I wanted to read that book to you today because so much of it was about using your imagination. And I know that all of us have been in our houses for a really long time, and we haven't been going to school, and we miss our friends, and we miss hanging out and laughing with each other and singing songs. But I wanted you to kind of think about how you can use your imagination to play with things in your house and pretend that you're going on an adventure, because I thought that might be a good skill to practice this week. So, preschoolers, I would like you to try to decide what kind of an adventure you want to pretend, and I would like you to talk to your family about it, see if they have any helpful advice, and find a way to pretend that you are going on an adventure, even though you are not leaving your house. This is Miss Amy saying, be awesome, keep helping your parents, keep learning new stuff, keep helping your brothers and sisters and being awesome leaders, and keep telling me about what you're doing, because I miss you guys. Take care. Bye, everybody.